and ugali. Can we give them?
Yes.
Okay, so when I say kuku, let me see. Kuku. So when I say class, you say yes, yes, class, class. So we are talking now about Cambridge early years. So with Cambridge early years, at Leeds Premium International School, we will start from the age of 2 to 3, and that will be our first class, and we are calling it creche. We are calling it? We are calling it creche. And a point to note on creche is that we will have Montessori teaching approach. Please, if I lose you in my class, then we'll have a lot of trouble. So with early years, I've said we are starting with the 2 to 3 years old, and that is creche class. And with creche class, I've said the mode of instruction is Montessori. And with Montessori, we are focusing on 5 domains. The first one is literacy, numeracy, sensorial, practical, and culture. So with the practical, we want the learners to manipulate materials, to fill and empty, to sweep, and do all sorts of things. With sensorial, we want them to feel, we want them to feel the texture of things and smell different sorts of smell. We want them to engage because learning takes place with using all the senses. You use the sense of sight, use the sense of smell, the sense of hearing, and also the sense of taste. Snap if we are together. So then from there, we go to foundation stage 1. With foundation stage 1, or better still, FS1. So with FS1, we are having learners between the ages of 3 to 4 years. Then from there, they will go to FS2. Guess what FS2 means? I need an attentive learner. No. This learner. I wanted to choose someone else. But it's okay, I've forgiven you. So we are from FS1, they go to FS2. And after FS2, they are graduating to primary school. So they will go to year 1 after kindergarten. So after kindergarten, they go to, before we go to year 1, I also need to tell you the subjects that your learner will be taking. They will be taking numeracy, literacy, understanding the world, expressive art, and also outdoor activities. Is that okay? Okay, I need 5. If you know, please raise your hand. Five subjects that learners will be taking in FS1 and FS2. There is no way you will answer the KWL chart at the end of the session if you are not able to answer my immediate instruction. Okay, so I need some volunteers. Do you want to volunteer? Okay.
Literacy.
Oh, thank you. Asna for him. Okay. Do you want to volunteer? Oh, no. Do you need help? You do not need help. Are you feeling sad? No. Are you happy? No. You're excited. Okay. Can I go around and come? Oh, you're learning. Okay. That's perfectly all right. We allow learners to express their emotions, okay? Okay. So, do you want to volunteer?
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice.
Arts and understanding the world.
Arts and understanding the world. Do you know that you've given us 2?
Yes.
Thank you. That's so generous of you. As now for her. Thank you. So we have the art, we are calling it expressive art. Then we have understanding the world. Give yourself a big part like this. So from we go straight to year 1. with year 1, or rather the key stages. We have key stage 1, where we have year 1, year 2, year 3. That is key stage 1. Then we go to key stage 2. With key stage 2, we are having year 4, 5, and 6. Then they go to lower secondary, where Miss will talk about it. I'm not going to jump there. Is that okay? She'll talk about it into details. But after key stage 2, we go to lower, then senior, then she will tell us. So subjects handled in year 1, 2, 3, we have mathematics, English. So we have 4 main subjects. 4 main subjects. 4 main subjects. So we have math, English, global perspective, and science. Those are the 4 main subjects. Sitaki kusikia subjects zingine. Ati teacher, environmental ulimpatia? Na hygiene? No. I have said the 4 main subjects are mathematics, English, global perspective, and science. Those are the main subjects. Then we have other subjects like history, digital literacy, geography, computing, and foreign language. Mmesikia kibukusu? Na nisaidieko? Naombako kwa nyenyekevu? Have I mentioned? Hakuna kwa nyenyekevu kwa Cambridge curriculum. We are international. Do I look the part? Yes. Snap if you agree. So another important factor to note is that with Cambridge, from the preschool to year 2, it is me, the teacher, who sets the assessment for the learners. Is that okay? Then from year 3, we have progression tests. And with the progression test, it is gotten from the Cambridge Hub. Why are we getting it from the Cambridge Hub? Because we are preparing them for the checkpoint in year 6. Are we together up to there? Thank you very much. So I will welcome Miss to continue from key stage 2 onwards. She will tell us how assessments are done and what actually IGCSE means and what the value it holds for your learner. Is that okay? Aya, clap for her. No, I'm not happy. Okay, sit down. These people are not motivating you enough. I need someone to motivate our teacher. Maybe from this side. You know, she's a very learned friend, and she's coming from very far. And if you don't motivate her, she might just decide to just abandon us here. Thank you. We said an attribute of a Cambridge learner. Who remembers the attribute?
Confident.
Confident. Well done.
Thank you. Okay. In our Leeds Premier School, Brigadier, I think I have some few learners here. Alika, come. Let's show them how we always appreciate one another in class. Teacher Darwin, come. Then you'll do. We do, you do, we do. Are we together? Yes.
It's simple. It's simple. It's hands clap, double, single. Sasa.
Tumepata.
Tumepata.
Hands clap, double, single. All of us together. Now a bigger one before, okay? A bigger one. That one we are trying. No, let's do it together. Everybody, hands clap, you so much. Welcome, Miss.
Thank you. I feel really motivated. Okay, so I've heard someone saying that she is still learning. Yeah, we're in the process of learning. And before we move on, I really need to check for understanding. Miss has talked about Key Stage 1. Key Stage 1 were catering for which years? Who remembers?
Year 1, year 2, and year 3.
Year 1, year 2, and year 3. Amazing. Let's clap for him. And then she also talked about Key Stage 2. Key Stage 2 catered for which years? 4, 5, and 6. Amazing. Clap for yourselves. Okay. So I'm going to pick it up from here. At the tail end of year 6, there's a checkpoint exam, just like I mentioned, to usher them into the secondary level, from primary to secondary. So the 3 core subjects are usually tested, that is math, science, and English. And then they transition to the lower secondary level, where they'll just continue progressively with the subject that they were taking. The only subject that will now be introduced is business studies. So they'll continue with business studies, and then at the tail end from year 7 to year 9, that is where we have Key Stage 3. At the tail end of year 9, there's another checkpoint exam for the 3 core subjects, math, English, and science. And then after the results, they transition to year 10 and 11, which is Key Stage 4. When they get to year 10, they'll now have the liberty to choose, because all along they've been taking general science, which is integration of both biology, the 3 subjects, biology, chemistry, and physics. But depending on the interest of the learner or maybe their career pathway, they'll narrow down to maybe choosing biology, chemistry, or physics. Business, again, they can decide to be very specific, taking accounting or just continuing with the general business studies. So at the tail end of year 11, that is when they sit for their international exam called the IGCSE. So the learners, the school can decide the time they want the learners to sit for the exams. There's that checkpoint that is usually administered in May and another one in October. So that solely depends on the institution and the time they want their learners to sit for that exam. So after the results are out, the learner, depending on your interest, they can continue with the Cambridge way, or they can now join the university. And remember, this is an international system. It prepares the learner for the international world, and also it can enable them to become an international worker, like after school. Yeah, so when they, in case a learner decides to continue with the Cambridge Advanced, that is when they sit for their A-levels. After the A-levels, they now join the university. When they join the university, their period will now be shorter. They won't take the 4 years like the rest. They'll just now join directly 3rd year and 4th year, and then they'll be done. And now they'll be ready for the outside world. Thank you.
Miss, I was wondering, can I ask?
Feel free.
So you've said that it opens the international doors.
Yeah.
So what exactly does that mean?
That means that this learner, remember, this Cambridge curriculum is internationally recognized. If right now you're transitioning to a country like South Africa, you don't really need to go and convert your papers from NEC to their system. Because even in South Africa, Nigeria, let's say the USA, they conduct the same curriculum. So you quickly blend with them and just progress with your studies. Yeah.
Thank you. Now I'm not wondering. Now I know. Thank you. So at this point, I'm just wondering, is there anyone who still asks why Cambridge? From our presentation, you still have this question, why Cambridge? Well, I think you've been answered partly, but I'm also going to emphasize on a few things. Why Cambridge is important. Number one, as Miss has said, that Cambridge is a worldwide, it's an international curriculum. What does that mean? It is studied in different countries. Sawa sawa. So a learner in UK, a learner in Kenya, a learner in South Africa, a learner in India, a learner in Ghana can be doing the same international curriculum, sitting for the same exam, experiencing the same assessment, experiencing the same grading, experiencing the same opportunities. Isn't that wonderful? And with that said, Madam Director, really thank you very much. Thank you very much for having Trans Nzoia in your heart, because you have not only opened the gateways of Trans Nzoia to Kenya, to the entire country, but indeed you have opened the doors of Trans Nzoia to the world. The other thing is that Cambridge, oh, you can snap for her. Oh my God, you people, don't be mean. Thank you very much. So we have said, apart from it being practiced in different countries, Cambridge curriculum has been in existence for over 150 years. I've given you a minute to just fathom that it has been in existence for over 150 years. What that means to me, it's not a trial and error. We are not piloting, no. Piloting was done long time ago, correction was done long time ago, and now we have the right thing. We have the right tools. And another thing I should add on the same note is that they have done extensive research on their teaching methodology. They have done extensive research on their teaching and learning aids. So when I say teaching and learning aids, what I mean is the tools that I will use to teach my learners. So if it is a book, it has been extensively researched on. Is that okay? And it is the same book being used across the world. Isn't that awesome? And now for the learner, remember we talked about the attributes of a Cambridge learner. So now what we are saying is that why Cambridge? Because Cambridge is going to give us a confident learner, an engaged learner, a learner who is able to reflect, an innovative learner, one who is able to say, what did you say? Where's that nice girl? You said I'm pretty. I'm feeling pretty. Yes, we'll have an innovative learner, and also we will have a very engaged learner. Another advantage of Cambridge, where we are saying why Cambridge, we are saying that it opens global opportunities. Global opportunities. So, and I will add to something that she says. She said, you remember we said that global perspective is a compulsory subject, and it is a main subject. Why are we saying that global perspective is a compulsory subject? And it's important because it prepares the learner for international problems, not just local. Yes, they will start with their own individual challenges. They will start with their own individual challenges that they're experiencing. Then they go to their local environments. Then they will go to national challenges. Then they will go to international challenges. Okay, let me bring it home closer. We will not be learning about Maji rebellion. We will not be learning about Mau Mau fighters. What I'm saying is that we will be learning international problems and solving them. So what that does to a learner, it opens their mind to not just think of today. We are removing the serikali saidia mentality. Repeat with me. We are removing the serikali saidia mentality. Because why? We are innovative. We are coming up with our own solution, and not just solutions to problems that we are facing in our local space, but we are the problems that we are facing internationally. Remember, she said that we are talking about 21st century learner addressing 21st century problems. That I cannot overemphasize is about diversity and inclusion. With Cambridge, there's, hey, please, I need you to stand and stretch a little bit because I really need this one to hit home. So clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, tap, tap. Clap, clap, tap, tap. Clap, clap, tap, tap. Thank you. You can have your seats. I saw someone removing their phone and starting to engage with the world. So what I was saying is that Cambridge embraces diversity and inclusion. And on this note, I wanted to really overemphasize on our differentiation methodology. What does differentiation mean? Differentiation means that if you have if your learner is a high achiever, he or she is given tasks that accommodate his or her mental capabilities. Is that okay? If you have a child who is differently abled, he is able to be accommodated. I feel like throwing shades. Can I throw? I feel like throwing shades. So, I don't have a lawyer, but I will still say, you will stand by me. Thank you. You know, this one is actually being broadcasted globally.
It's premier school, close your ears. Until you see me do this, right? Yes, now you're free, say.
I can throw the shades.
Yes.
Okay. So now, sometimes we talk about inclusion, and we talk about putting all our learners who are enabled differently in our classroom. Let's say, for example, an autistic learner. But what happens when this learner gets to a class that is being assessed? You know what I mean, right? Is their assessment differentiated? They are subjected to the same assessment, right? I know we are on the same page. Do I have a slow learner on this side? Yes, do I have time takers on the other side? Madam Director, do you need some further clarification? She's perfectly okay. So we are saying that we are including these learners, but when it comes to the assessment, are we differentiating them? No, we are not differentiating them. So with Cambridge, it offers the opportunity for a learner who is enabled differently to experience the best by having a differentiated paper. However, parents, I know, you know, we know, the biggest challenge we face in that regard is acceptance. That one our director will tell us, because you have to accept, and we accept. Then we help the learner. Is that okay? So back to my point, I think I had gone somewhere else, that we are saying that Cambridge is offering an opportunity. Yes, you're free. So we are saying that Cambridge is offering an opportunity for our learners who are enabled differently or who are having different learning challenges to experience the best, to become the best they can. Okay? And sometimes it's not having a different assessment paper. Sometimes it's just more time. We have learners who are dyslexia, the ones who cannot read. They take more time to read. We are not just going to rate them and say, this one is below. And say they are below, and we are not offering them help. So for us to help them not become, or rather not, for us not to rate them as below, what can we do? Can we give this opportunity? Can we give more opportunity to this learner by giving her more time because he or she is enabled differently? Is that point really home?
Yes.
Does it touch a point in your heart?
Yes.
Because we know, we as especially the mothers, we know our children. They are just like our fingers. They are never the same, isn't it? So yes, so inclusion, I really cannot overemphasize that. It's really, really, really important that different, even in our classroom tasks, that our learners are being differentiated. Sawa sawa, even in their assessment, even when it comes to the national assessment, the shadow teacher to be there with her or him to help them. Is that good news to some parents?
Yes.
Snap if you agree. On assessment, why are we assessing our learners? We have to have, we are thinking the end from the beginning. We are not starting, then we start scratching our head and then ask ourselves, then what happens? You know? Sawa sawa. Then we also assess to prove learning. We really need to confirm. That learning really took place. So how do we prove that learning really took place, apart from seeing it physically by our learners solving international problems and being able to have the literacy skills and all these things? How else can we do? Is through the assessments. Then at this point, I'm going to help at least differentiate between Cambridge assessment and traditional assessment. Me, I don't know traditional ni gani. It's you to answer yourself. It could be 844. Okay? So in Cambridge assessment, we say assessment drives curriculum. Assessment drives curriculum. In the other one, it's curriculum that drives assessment. Another one, if you need help or rather further clarification, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll hear you out and clarify. Then another one is that Cambridge is learner structured. The main points are on the learner. The main focus is on the learner. The learner is the main and only objective. Is that okay, parents? So we are also saying that Cambridge, the other side, it's teacher structured. So I'll just say, are we together? Yes. See, you know, me and you, we were in the same class. Are we together? Yes. Are we together? Yes. Kama haujaelewa? Tukutane mbele. Someone just said that. Kama haujaelewa? Tukutane mbele. But here we are saying that it is learner structured. Then we are also saying that it focuses on performing a task. And on the other side, we are saying that it is selecting a response. For example, when I ask you, are we together? The response was yes. But here with Cambridge, it's not a close-ended question. It's an open-ended question. So it gives room for you to give me your feedback. I need to know how your thought processing is taking place. Is that okay? The second last thing is active learning. With active learning is actually what we have done with the KWL chart. We allow the learner to assess themselves. You give a feedback of your own learning. And on the other side, did you ever give feedback? My fellow students, did you ever give feedback for yourself? Miss, I did not understand this. I think I need more help on this. Okay. So we went to the same school. But guess what? Our director, Miss Julia, has decided to change the narrative. A snap for her. So, in this case, I will welcome Miss. She will talk about, we are actually winding up. She will talk about the types of assessment as she concludes. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. So before I shed more light on the types of assessments, I'd like to ask us a very simple question. Have you been... Okay, we'll tell at the end of the lesson. Okay, so we are going to look at the types of assessments. I'm sure most of us, depending on the schools that we went to, most of us were encountering assessments whereby it was more of memorization, writing it down, and then you're ranked, and then there's someone who's number one, there's someone who's at the center, and there's someone at the tail end. But then in Cambridge, we explore the different types of assessments. The first one is the formative assessment. This one is carried out during lessons. During lessons, like the interaction that we are having right now, I'm questioning, you're giving me responses. I can clearly tell that what most of us have understood. I can give the formative assessment as assignments, as group work, to just check for an understanding. That contributes to the performance of the learner at the end of the term. There's also the summative assessment. This one is carried out at the end of the learning process. Let's say at the end of year 6, we have the checkpoint exam. It informs us what this learner has been doing since year 4 to year 6. At year 9, there's another checkpoint exam. It can still inform me what the learner has been doing between year 7 and year 9. At the tail end of year 11, there's the IGCSE exam. It also informs me what the learner has been doing. And then the third type of assessment is the criterion referenced assessment. This one, learners learn at their own pace and they are assessed at their own different levels. We can take assessments which are tailored according to the learner's ability, and then they are assessed according to their capability. Unlike the traditional method, whereby I have to rank you against the others, here I just look at your progress, the progress that the learner has made. Let's say in science, in term 1, the learner scored maybe a 50. And then at the end of the term, let's say term 2, maybe this learner has improved from a 50 to a 60. Is it that progress? Yeah. Am I exerting pressure to this learner? No. So we keep on progressively looking at what the learner has done and encourage them to keep on doing better without comparing them to the next learner. But rather, we just encourage them to be the best versions of themselves. And then the fourth type is the all type of assessment that we all engage with. It's called the norm referenced assessment, where the normal curve is drawn. Those that are on the head, those that carry the body, and those ones that carry the tail. Which to me, I feel like it was not the best, because it ends up discouraging you. Maybe you're not making any improvement. And that comparison, for instance, it just demotivates the learner. In Cambridge, we don't encourage that because we don't compare our learners. We believe every learner learns at their own pace and they can become the best versions of themselves by just giving them constructive feedback. Okay, so moving on, These are the different assessment tools that we use for the different types of assessments. We can give out assessments as classwork. We can also give it out as group activity, assignments, presentations like we've just done. We can give you a task, you present it in front of the class. That can help the learner to become confident and also expressive as they're doing that. Sometimes we can assess our learners through projects, and once the projects are done, we can do an exhibition, a school exhibition, where the whole day we just carry out an exhibition for the projects that the learners have done. We can also assess them through drama or skit. This one lies more to the language department. That's English. Kiswahili was also introduced in the curriculum, and the foreign languages as well. In science, we can assess them through experiments. We can just ask them to carry out an experiment to just correlate what they were learning in class and what they are now doing practically. Report writing, in case maybe we've had an educational trip, maybe they've gone somewhere, they need to come back and do a report on the same. Assessment can also be done through quiz, essay writing, and also portfolios. But portfolios work best for the early years, where we just document what each learner has done, maybe in art, in the different levels, so that they can easily tell their journey and the growth that they have made. So just like any other curriculum, there's also the grading system, which runs from 0 to 100. Anything above 90 is an A star. An A with an asterisk sign at the top of it. And then anything above 80 is an A. Anything above 70 is a B. 60 a C. 50 a D. 40 an E. 30 an F. And then 20 a G. Anything below 20 is ungraded. You will not be graded. Yeah. So once the assessment has been done, when we go back to our traditional method, or the traditional way of teaching, our teachers are just writing for us, pull up your socks, good effort, and that's that. But in our curriculum now, we do things differently. We have to provide feedback, and the feedback has to be really constructive. How is that so? When giving out feedback, let's say in science, the subject that I'm handling, I have to outline the strengths of the learner. I believe every learner, much as, depending on their different disabilities, they can do something. I have to highlight that something that they have done. I highlight the strength. I highlight also the areas that they need to improve on. And lastly, I also, apart from pointing out a problem, you can't just point out a problem and leave it at that. You have to provide a solution. And I believe all of us know this 3-stoned cooking. The 3 stones that are used for cooking. Yes. Do you know it? Yes. Can I cook my ugali with only 2 stones? No. Can I cook it with only 1 stone? No. So while providing the remedy for the learner, we need them to improve, or we need to set them somewhere. I need the teacher, I need the learner, and I also need the parent to work hand in hand, just like that traditional 3-stone cooking method. With that said and done, I'd like to appreciate all of you for listening to us. At this juncture, let me welcome my co-host.
Thank you very much. So, just to recap on what she said, that we actually, when we are giving feedback, we are giving feedback on 3 things. Number 1, you've given feedback on the learner's strength, you've given feedback on the challenges, and we are also giving the recommendation or the remedy. And on the recommendation part, we are also subdividing it into 3. What the role of the learner in ensuring that they do better in the areas of challenges that you have highlighted above. Then we are also telling the parents, the 3-stone jiko, We are also telling the parent, this is your role in ensuring that your learner is doing better on the above mentioned challenges. Then me, the teacher, the third stone of the three-stone cooker. Me, the teacher, this is my contribution in bettering your learners' performance in the above challenges. Are we together on that? Is that as clear as day? Okay. So at this point, I'd like to welcome all the questions. At least I expect some very tough questions from my audience because they have been active listeners and they have been really thinking critically, and they have used their analytical skills. So they have several questions. I will welcome at least three, or rather all of them. Any question? Thank you. You'll note it down. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I would like you to highlight specific areas where assessment drives curriculum. Very specific.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's a very keen listener. Another question? That's just the first question. I'm expecting at least three. Okay. If you don't ask a question, I will ask you to just say something. I think we might get a question from this end. Our educators on this other side.
Okay, just on behalf of our parents, possibly I've just guessed that they have a question concerning the fee structure. That's one. And then two, I'm a professional in Kiswahili. So, though they have not said about Kiswahili, but I want to be an advocate like Mzee Ongoya, not like Mutuse. Kiswahili should go international. So when you bring your kid, we may not teach him or her without your permission, but with your permission, you can teach them so that they can go and be teachers in Germany. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that constructive feedback. I think he deserves a snap, right? Thank you. I need one more, just one more. And this learner is very active, but I'm not choosing you. I need someone else. You have another one. Okay. Just give Miss first.
Thank you so much. My question is, we have emphasized on global recognition of the Cambridge curriculum. What about the local universities? Do they admit our learners, or they must transition to other countries for their post-secondary education?
Thank you very much for that feedback. I feel like I'm on fire to answer you, but let me swallow my fire and then answer you at the tail end. There was a question here. Thank you.
Okay. There was this area of exhibitions.
Okay.
Could we have specific requirements for various disciplines when it comes to exhibition? Do we have items? Do we have what is required on the exhibition?
Okay, we'll give you exactly what you need. Oh, this class is really nice, eh? It means my learners have been really keen.
What's the difference between reflective learning and innovation? And at what stage do you employ innovation? Because there are different stages in the curriculum. So at what stage do you gauge that a learner has understood to the level that they can be innovative?
Okay, thank you, thank you. The difference between innovative and reflective. Thank you. Any other question? We want to take all the questions. I will welcome someone to just give a remark before we answer the question, because that side has been quiet. So I have active learners on one side, the ones that are able to express themselves without being asked or requested. Can I ask someone from that side to give feedback and not you, miss? Someone else? Any feedback? Maybe from that table and this table. Okay, thank you. Maybe the two can give some feedback.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We've just noted, those of us from the previous, the 844, that it's very engaging and the learner gets to do what they're learning. So we've learned a lot from that. Thank you.
Mine is just for letting our people know, like I wanted to know, what does IGCSE stand for? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to offer some feedbacks on some of the questions that have been aired out in this forum. Then thereafter, I will ask my fellow educator to. You have a question, sir? You have really been active in this class. You're very much okay. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to give feedback on some of the questions that have been asked. Then my fellow educator is going to answer others, and we will move forth together. Is that okay? Thank you. So I will start with our fellow professor. Professor wa Kiswahili ni professor. Professor wa Kiswahili. So Kiswahili in Cambridge is classified as a foreign language. Remember, we said that Cambridge is an international curriculum that has been in existence for over 150 years, covered globally. So there is a child in India who is not doing, Kiswahili is not their first language, okay? So Kiswahili is classified as a first language, and learners have the opportunity to learn Kiswahili. And Miss also mentioned something later on. We have English as a first language, then we have English as a second language, and then we have Kiswahili. Anyone who remembers that point? Yes, so Kiswahili is very much valid in Cambridge. Have I answered your question to your satisfaction? Okay, any question arising? Okay, thank you.
Okay, on behalf of the parents.
I'm coming there. So, just as you've mentioned, on behalf of the parents, you really have these parents to your heart, and that is really kind of you. That specific question, we have our able directors with us. They are going to answer that question effectively, because I believe now that we have said they are opening Trans Nzoia to the global world, they are also trying to favor us, to understand us. You see the eyes that I'm looking at you with? To understand us as parents. So that question is going to be answered by the management. Okay. So that one you can just put a star on it. It's going to be addressed later. So another question that one parent raised is that are we able to admit our learners in local universities? The answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. And not just yes, we also have international universities in the country, right? So international universities in the country and local universities in the country accept the Cambridge curriculum. So you have no cause of worry. Am I clear on that? Okay, thank you very much. Then another thing that was asked was, there was the difference between reflective and innovative. Okay? Miss, allow me call you Miss today. Innovative means coming up with new ideas. That one does not matter the age. You see the 3 year, let me ask you a question. Did you ever think of I feel pretty? That is innovation. So it does not have an age. Until now we are saying by the age of grade 5 or year 5 or key stage 2 is when our learners start becoming innovative. Remember, innovation is an attribute of a Cambridge learner. So right from the inception, right from the beginning, we are expecting our learners to be innovative. Of course, I do not, it wouldn't be realistic to have a 3-year-old coming up with a chemical equation. That is not age appropriate. So the innovation progresses as the age progresses. Have I answered that question? Now, the difference between innovation and reflective. Reflective is looking back. Okay? Innovation is coming up with. Reflective is looking back at. Like, for example, right now, you see in your KWL chat what I have learned. I hope by now you have written what you have learned. What that one helps us with is I'm helping you as my learner to become reflective, to look back, think back. By the time I walked into this gate, I did not know this about Cambridge. So this is what I have, say it with me, this is what I have learned. Have I answered your question to your satisfaction? Thank you. So let my fellow educator.
Okay, thank you. So there was a question on how the assessment drives the curriculum and how the curriculum drives the assessment. So we said that in Cambridge, the assessment drives the curriculum. So before I respond to it, I'll just give a scenario. Let's say you are doing a questionnaire and your findings are that people are saying that Cambridge is a good curriculum. People are saying, do I have the data to tell how many people are saying that? That would be just a general statement. So in any system, and more so in the international curriculum, we use in the traditional way, the teacher will just come in, pump in information, because they'll ask general questions like, have you understood? Everyone will say, but then have you taken down the data to tell that? So that's the big difference between Cambridge and the other systems. We look more into data, and it's data that helps us to make the informed decision. So in this case, the data will help provide feedback for us to tell us the kind of assessment or how to tailor the assessment for our learners. And on that note, after the assessment as well, I can still tailor my mode of teaching or my mode of delivering instructions to ensure that all the learners get to understand what I actually mean for them to understand, which is very much different from the other curriculum. So there was that other question on the exhibitions. So remember in Cambridge, we encourage most of our learners to just be creative. And on that note, we sometimes offer assessments as presentations or maybe projects. Actually allowed to be as creative as possible, depending on the subjects that you're handling. For instance, me as a science teacher, I can ask my learners to come up with science projects. I'll not limit them to a specific project. I'll let them or allow them to explore as many projects as they can. And then during the exhibition, I allow them to now share or let their audience know more about their projects. While they're doing their presentations, they are also like making the other attributes very strong. One of them is communication, because if I'm selling this template over here, I really have to convince you guys that it is worth you guys purchasing this template over here. So it will build my communication skills, my confidence, because I'm talking in front of a multitude. That means the learner will also be confident and they'll know what they are talking about. So basically, exhibitions are there to make a link between what the learners learn in class and to the outside world, because they'll be able to come up with projects on their own, which helps them understand the concepts more. I hope I've responded to your question. Thank you.
At this juncture, hey, my ancestors not prosper in this county. Anyway, I'd love to ask for maybe 3 or maybe 2 misconceptions, some of the things that you thought Cambridge was.
Okay, I'm a product of 844. I used to think that learners who went the Cambridge way will not really get it, because I have friends who were in the team and they are working here. And I'm also having friends who used to be in the 844 system and they're working outside Kenya. So it's diverse like that. So when I came into the system and understood it better, I found out that this system has more advantages than the local system that we have. Yeah.
A snap for her. I'll tell you my misconception, because I'm even embarrassed to say mine, but I'll allow the parents to share their misconception of Cambridge. And there's one that is really smiling at me. Let me just walk towards her. How are you feeling?
Employment, professional employment. You can be an employer. Yeah, by coming up with this is the curriculum that will bring out the best in our learners, so that we do not sit on any skill. We bring them out completely. Give each one of us an opportunity to be who God created you to be in this universe. Thank you. Thank you.
I think she needs a snack. Huh? That was so profound and so confident of you. Another misconception.
Not a misconception. It's not a misconception. I just have a message from one of my neighbors in diaspora, but she lives around. Please attend the this function and inform Flics Premier International that you're representing a family that is definitely joining and tied to the and she would wish to get the structure and any other details.
Wow. Hey, that one. Thank you very much for that feedback. I see need some 2 misconceptions. Just follow me. There's a misconception here.
Okay, my misconception might be a serious one. I heard that there's a Cambridge curriculum and an international school. National school here in Trans local minds.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my fellow educator, to squarely to square.
Yes, yes. But then, an international curriculum, it doesn't like seclude that you are qualified for it, you'll get the job. They always look. Number two, the good thing about international career, they have this thing called professional development, whereby much as you're a teacher, they keep on teaching you how to become better, to teach better, to become more confident, to become that teacher, in short. So any person can teach in an international school. You don't have to be from I don't know where to teach in an international curriculum. So when you go for that interview, just put your best foot forward, and everything else will fall into place, as long as you're ready and willing to learn. Yeah.
And lastly, on the same, you see her and me, we are an evidence that indeed Cambridge is accommodative. It's not for that. The last option side. I think the next thing we need to work the sitting arrangement. A misconception from this side. You volunteer or I volunteer you? Okay, I'm going to excuse you. But what I'm not going to excuse you, oh, thank you very much. Finally, you have saved the entire team.
There's this session about the duration it takes. Personally, I used to think the Cambridge system takes too long than the CBC or the KCP system. So I don't know if that's true or not.
At this point, that question has not been answered. We talked about all the age level, right from the creche, all the way to the A level and the tertiary level. If that was not clear, I will personally see you and discuss.
There are those who have come late.
Oh, thank you very much. He is asking on behalf of a latecomer who might or might not be here. Thank you. Miss is going to answer that on that misconception.
Okay, thank you. So we went from one key stage to the other. For the early years, it was running from age 3 to age 5, sorry. From age 13 to 16. You're done with the upper. If you'd like to continue with the Cambridge pathway, you'll enroll for the advanced level, which will go up to age 10. And if you are thereafter on campus, you'll be joining at a year. So that means that you'll be finishing at around 21 years, 22 years, which is just common or almost the same if someone goes the other pathway. So I don't feel like we'll take long when taking the Cambridge curriculum compared to the other curriculum.
Thank you, Miss, for that feedback. There's some more feedback here.
The feedback is that maybe you are asking yourself, now this one is only offering early years, and that is FS1, FS2, then pressure, and then year 1, maybe up to year 5, where we are beginning from. but we want to confirm to our parents that starting September this year, we shall be enrolling our year 2025. We shall be enrolling our year 7. And progressively, we are going to put the structures in place to accommodate us all the way to the university. This is a brand and it's not about to die. It's just growing. So we build your confidence together with us that indeed together Trans Nzoia County can shake the world.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for that affirmation and confirmation that indeed this is just the iceberg. University is underway. Please get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. So on the last note, I'll ask Miss Julia and Miss to kindly help me collect the KWL charts that you filled at the beginning of the session. Please make sure that each and every learner
on this app. I really enjoyed it. Learner centered. Thank you very much, dear madams. Members here, appreciate that at least you are wonderful people. We are ready to change. We are ready to cooperate into Cambridge system of education, and we really love this. So parents who are here, I'm also a parent. The doubts I had have been answered, and now I'm a man. I had closed on my last born daughter, but now I try to tell her for see this, but now I come in for Cambridge. Can we just put our hands out to welcome our mom or director to come and speak something about vision? About I've been told like this. Come, please. Can you, my brother? What are you doing there?
Thank you so much. Because of time, allow me to highlight a few things that we've been doing from the premier schools and maybe what get back to these premier schools. I'm a local girl. I schooled in a local primary school. I cannot mention here because I don't want to be rated anymore. Yes. So the reason why so having lived in the rural areas from young age all the way to 18 years, I had never stepped in Nairobi. I went to Nairobi the first time I was joining campus and I didn't go back. I joined campus and I stayed there. I got married, got children. So when I was being to West, my challenge was where will my child school? You know, I had gotten that exposure now from the local, the very local, learning better up to now. So I'm in the city and we have the tarmac, we have the internet, we have the phones, we have good schools. You will actually be confused which school now to choose from. We have Loken Academy, White Stars, and Bracket, and then in my neighborhood, imagine, in my neighborhood, Kitengela International, all the good schools, Akesha, good schools that we would wish to carry our children from here, Kitale, to Nairobi or Kajiado. So on my way here, I took a flight to this home. This is where I first landed my place. And the first question was, I was seated there with Joanne and my brother. That's why I get it right. I get the service right. And then he challenged me and walked me to the bank and he guaranteed for me a loan. And that's what gave back to the school, the Kidia. So my desire was to see a local child experience what the city child is experiencing. And I went coaching teachers. You see my teachers here, they are all important. They are very good teachers, perfect in fact. And just allow me to through all very, very fast. our learners with a kind arts teacher kindly just come and show the parents what to do in Leeds, fine arts. And from the year one, that is the year 2019, we had music. We had our laptop in music at the national level. We missed one mark to perform for the president. So we are here, and that was Teacher Saya. We still have him here. We didn't lose our teacher. We blend, we bond, we become a family. I had them say, when you join this beautiful family, be ready to stay. Sawa sawa. Really show our parents what you have done. Yeah.
My name is Lilian Masika from Kenya. I'm from Fruits by Still Life Road. My name is Delvin Ross from Leeds, Premier. My name is DC Peter from I've done a learning using shooting technique.
Equipment that Kenya. And you know the way we will witness equipment that Kenya. And you know the way we will go in heaven, we will go in the Luya way. We will be dancing is putting. So if you have one authentic Luya, there is no the game is authentic Luya. There is no the game is Luya. Even the way you say hallelujah, where do you get the name? So in heaven, it's a Luya dance. When we get there, kindly remove your shoes, and we do it very well. So kindly, our music children, we only have a few here. We have a population of 415 learners, and we have over 60 children who have shown their interest in music, and we do it to our level best. Kindly, our music. We have only 1 minute. We are out of time. And you come with Mabeka. Yeah? Where is Teacher Sarah? And this is our enrolled daughter, Ryan Kwakoka. Kwakoka is an international student. Community, presenting the Luya community. She's community. She's already befriending Luya. So we are talking for potential nafasi mbinguni. Yes. So, our teacher, our very own best teacher in music, teacher Anafuno, kindly join our learners. Just for a short clip. In the very, very near future, in less than a few months, we'll be having all the talents, all the areas exposed to, and then you pick what you want. We were told innovation starts from 0 age. Our children play better with that. They utilize our gadgets better than ourselves. So imagine exposing your child to variety. What do you expect? By the time we are talking of year 5, you have the finest skill that has been identified and nurtured in this particular institution. So allow me just to say another thing is that once you join this particular community, we intend to collaborate as parents. I myself being one of the parents here, we intend to form a group to linkages after this where we will be establishing our post-secondary education department, to help our learners and to lead them to universities abroad and even locally. And money has nothing, we have nothing to worry about finances. All silver and gold belongs to our God. We will pray together as parents. We will work hand in hand, advise each other, invite people who can sharpen our financial management skills just to ensure that what we have started, we don't stop it on the way. And believe me, the Bible says that that which He has started, that which the Lord Himself has started, He's able to carry it through till the day of Christ. So we are not about to stop. We are not worried. We are not even scared. Yesterday I was being reminded that the word fear not appears in the Bible 365 times. How many of you had known that? So fear not, fear not. Wale wanauliza fee structure, fear not. We have better resources. Let me give you something. We have better resources than our. I'm not saying that I'm not tribal. That's why we have Wamboi here, we have Kwamboka here, we have Ofiro here. Sindio? I'm not tribal. But we have not utilized our resources well as a Luya community or as Westerners or as Transoya people. You meet people in Vihiga on a very small acreage. Look at the produce. You go to Embu, you wonder what magic are they applying. So as parents also, we will not be left behind. These international trips they're talking about, me and you will be part and parcel of them. As they go to their educational trips, we go to our innovative trips, we go to our business trips to learn, to sharpen our business skills, to come back, generate money, generate income, pay fees abroad. Senior, jipigia makofi sasa. So allow me to pass over the mic to our French teacher in this particular institution. We're not going to borrow any teacher from Flics Premier School. Wao watapaki huko kwao. Yeah, we'll only be meeting in such functions. We have our role. And we know we are picking the best. We saw these two ladies. Imagine they met today. They met here today. In 13 minutes, they were able to produce something. Assuming they stay here for what will your child lack? What will they lack? And I don't know. Maybe the teachers in Cambridge education centers, they black and white. They both came in black and white. Imagine the magic. Huh? Miss Jerusha, might you have met Lorraine by any chance? You've never met? And look at the way they were able to coordinate and present very well. If our children will be taught in the same manner, what do we expect? Keep thinking about that.
Bonjour. Après-midi. Après-midi. Mon nom c'est Madame Jacqueline. Je m'appelle Madame Jacqueline. Nous étudions dans le français très bien. Je suis contente.
Moi, je ne parle pas français.
Félicitations. Did you get that? Yeah, my name is Madam. I'm just happy by what I am happy. So that is what your children will experience here. Some good French. I am honored to just read on her behalf. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed parents, educators, and members of the Kitale community. Our vision is for each child to develop curiosity in learning, discover their interest, and grow in their love for learning. Our mission is to foster an enthusiastic, creative community of learners prepared to continue their intellectual, emotional, and physical development. Our core values are longevity,